In this part, I would like to talk about how to perform operations that involve both fractions and decimals. Now, if you're in a situation where you're doing a problem that involves both decimals and fractions, then all you have to do is convert all of your numbers so that they're of the same type. And usually what this means is converting all your fractions to decimals because that is going to make everything easier. Working with decimals is usually a lot easier than working with fractions. So step number one, convert all your fractions to decimals. Once all your numbers are of the same type, then you can just do the operations with the decimals normally using your calculator. So, for example, if someone asked me, what is 1/5 plus zero point 0.4? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to convert 1/5 to a decimal so that all the numbers are of the same type in the problem. So to do that conversion, I'm just going to take 1 divided by 5, and that gives me 0.2. Once I've converted 1 over 5 to a decimal number, then I can add zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.4 just using my calculator, and I get the answer 0.6. Now, what if someone asked, what is 0.47 minus 1/10? Once again here, I will just convert 1/10 so it is in the same format as the other decimal number in this problem. So 1/10 is equivalent to 0.1 as a decimal number. Now, if I subtract using the calculator, I get a result of 0.37. So that would be the result of this calculation. If someone said 1/3 times 0.2, I would start by converting 1/3 to a decimal number. Now, in situations like this, we have to make a decision about how many threes we want to write down. And this will depend usually on what the question is asking for in terms of how much you want to round your final answer. So I would say if the final answer wants some number of decimal places, then in the intermediate calculations, in all the calculations you're doing before the final answer, give it a couple of extra decimal places just to make sure that you don't introduce any small errors by rounding too early. For example, if in this problem I was asked to round my final answer to 3 decimal places, then I might round the values in the middle to maybe 5 or 6 decimal places, probably around 5 or something. So in this situation, if, for example, I wanted to round my final answer to 3 decimal places, I would take 1/3 and I would round it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 or 6 decimal places. Yeah, maybe 6 to be safe. And then I would look to the digit directly to the right of the 6 decimal place. That's a small value, so I'm just going to delete everything to the right, and I'll express this as 0.333333 times 0.2. And if I do 333,333.02, the result of that is 0.002. 0, 6, and then a bunch of sixes after that. If I wanted to round this final answer to 3 decimal places, then I would look at the digit to the right of that place. 6 is a pretty high number, so I would get rid of these values and I would increase the number in this third position by 1, giving me around 0.067. Now, if you are working with a graphing calculator that allows you to type in slightly more sophisticated expressions, you can also just do the whole calculation at one time, typing into the calculator exactly what you see written down in your problem. The only thing that I would caution you is that when you're entering fractions into the calculator, put fractions in a set of parentheses of their own. So, for example, if I wanted to get the calculator to help me with 1/5 plus 0.4, I would put in parentheses the fraction 1 divided by 5 and then close that. And I would like to add that to the number 0.4. If I hit enter, I get the same result, 0.6, that I got via the Windows 11 calculator and the two-step process that we used earlier. In the second expression, I could do 0.47 minus, and then I'm going to subtract 1 over 10 in parentheses. And the result of that is exactly the same 0.37 that we found earlier. And for example, I could do 1 over 3 times 0.2, and this gives us the 0.0 and then a bunch of sixes afterward. And to round that to the third decimal place, we could do exactly the same thing that we did earlier. Look at the third decimal place, go one digit to the right of that. It's a pretty big digit, so I will delete these numbers and increase this value by 1. And that is how I would get 0.067 here.